Why is it that some men are always on the outside looking in, and yet they don't seem to mind? Because they're not trying to get in. While society often obsesses over alpha males, the dominant leaders, and beta males, the agreeable followers, there's a third archetype that breaks the mold entirely, the sigma male. These men don't reject the hierarchy because they want to be rebels. They ignore it because it simply doesn't apply to them. Sigma males are lone wolves by choice. Psychologists have noted that such individuals often score high in traits like self-reliance, introspection, and non-conformity. They're not antisocial, but selectively social. They can thrive in groups, but they just don't need them to validate their worth. Unlike alphas who lead the pack, sigma males lead themselves. They prioritize purpose over popularity, values over validation, and solitude over superficial social climbing. And that's precisely why they never seem desperate to fit in. They've discovered that peace is found not in acceptance from others, but in alignment with themselves. In a world addicted to approval, sigma males are refreshing anomalies. They don't chase trends, they don't beg for attention, and they don't compromise who they are just to be part of the crowd. Their mysterious, independent nature might make them outsiders, but it also makes them intriguing, resilient, and ultimately unforgettable. So if you've ever felt like you were walking your own path, disconnected from the herd, it might not be a flaw. It might be your sigma nature calling. And that, my friend, is a strength. Reason one, they don't crave validation. Let's get one thing straight. Sigma males do not need applause to validate their existence. While everyone else is doing things for the gram, Sigmas are doing things for growth. They don't need 300 likes to feel alive. They don't need group approval to act. They trust their own judgment, and that makes them a rare breed. This isn't just a catchy line, it's backed by psychology. According to self-determination theory, true motivation stems from autonomy, competence, and relatedness. Sigma males exemplify autonomy. They don't perform for the crowd, they act from internal convictions. While others crave external validation, Sigmas are fueled by self-validation, an inner compass that doesn't waver. When you stop seeking validation, you break society's most unspoken rule, conformity. Society wants you to play a role, dress the part, speak the script, and never question the rules. But Sigmas don't just break the rules, they walk off the stage entirely. They're not antisocial, they're selectively social. They engage when it's meaningful, not because it's expected. Why is this so powerful? Because validation-seeking behavior is linked to anxiety, low self-esteem, and burnout. Studies show that people who constantly look for approval tend to experience more emotional instability. Sigmas, on the other hand, often exhibit higher levels of self-reliance and mental clarity. They understand that self-worth isn't a popularity contest. It's something you build quietly, day by day, through discipline, reflection, and action. And here's the twist. When you stop chasing validation, people start noticing you more. Ironically, detachment from approval becomes magnetism. That's why Sigma males often seem so compelling. They're not trying to impress anyone. They're just becoming the best version of themselves. So the next time someone questions why you're not following the herd, remember, you're not lost. You're just walking a path only the self-assured dare to take. Reason two, they're deep thinkers in a shallow world. Let's face it, modern culture thrives on small talk. Whether it's celebrity drama, the latest viral trends, or debates over who wore it better, society is hooked on surface-level chatter. But Sigma males, they tune it out. While others scroll through gossip, Sigmas are neck-deep in books, breaking down philosophies, decoding systems, and applying knowledge in ways most people wouldn't even consider. Sigma males are the intellectual rebels of the social hierarchy. They're not trying to be edgy or different just for the sake of it. They're built to think critically. Research from the Journal of Individual Differences highlights that individuals with introverted and independent personality traits, which Sigmas often embody, are more likely to exhibit high levels of cognitive curiosity and deep analytical thinking. They aren't satisfied with, that's just how it is. They want to know why it is, how it got that way, and what happens if you challenge it. This relentless questioning often isolates them. In a world that celebrates fitting in, Sigma males disrupt the narrative. They walk into a shallow pool and start asking deep questions, like why the water's shallow to begin with, and the result? Confused stares, uncomfortable silences, social exclusion. But here's the twist. Sigma males don't mind. They would rather Walk alone with integrity than blend in wearing a mask. Being misunderstood is a small price to pay for being real. This isn't arrogance, it's authenticity. It's not that they're too cool for small talk, it's that their minds are too wired for substance to stay stuck in it. And that's what makes them powerful. In a society obsessed with image, Sigmas pursue insight. While others follow trends, they follow truth, and in doing so they forge their own path, one that doesn't require approval to feel valid. Because at the end of the day, Sigma males know one thing: it's better to be underestimated than to be uninspired. Reason 3. They operate outside the social hierarchy. Most people are busy climbing ladders, career ladders, social ladders, hierarchies of power and prestige. But Sigma males, they dismantle the entire structure. They don't seek validation through status. They're not playing chess to become king. They've already left the board. While the world argues about who's alpha, beta, or gamma, the Sigma male is quietly building his own kingdom, often in literal solitude. Think Thoreau at Walden Pond, or Keanu Reeves quietly dominating Hollywood without craving the spotlight. Sigmas don't care where they rank because they never subscribe to the ranking system to begin with. This mindset is what makes them so unpredictable. In a society wired around conformity and control, the Sigma's refusal to play by the rules disrupts expectations. Psychology tells us that humans crave categorization. It helps us feel secure, so when someone refuses to be defined, that unknown becomes intimidating. Studies in behavioral psychology even suggest that unpredictable individuals can trigger discomfort in group settings because they're harder to influence or manipulate. Sigmas steer clear of drama ego contests and power games, not because they're weak, but because they see through the illusion. Power gained through dominance is fleeting. Influence gained through integrity is lasting. They're mission-focused, not attention-hungry. This singularity of purpose makes them efficient and often highly successful, though you'll rarely see them bragging about it, and that's why they don't fit in. Not because they're flawed, but because they're free. Free from social games, free from peer pressure, and free from needing the world's approval. Society might see that as a threat, but Sigmas see it as clarity. They've never needed the ladder because they've always had wings. Reason 4. They value solitude over noise. Crowds, overrated. Parties, maybe if the moon's in retrograde and the playlist doesn't suck. Sigma males thrive in solitude, not because they're antisocial, but because that's where they recharge, refocus, and reconnect with themselves. Unlike extroverts who draw energy from social interaction, Sigma males are what psychologists classify as introverted individuals with high autonomy. They're not afraid of being alone with their thoughts. In fact, they seek it. In today's hyperconnected world, silence has become rare and even feared. Most people drown themselves in distractions, endless scrolling, background noise, constant notifications. But Sigma males lean into the quiet. Why? Because silence sharpens their focus. It's in these quiet spaces that ideas are born, goals are refined, and resilience is cultivated. Solitude isn't loneliness. This is a key distinction. Loneliness is a craving for connection. Solitude is a conscious choice to be alone for self-growth. Studies show that individuals who spend regular time in solitude have increased creativity, better emotional regulation, and stronger decision-making skills. That's Sigma energy in action, and no, they don't ghost people. They simply understand that their time and energy are sacred. If they disappear, it's not drama, it's maintenance. A Sigma male knows that peace is more valuable than popularity, and mental clarity beats constant chatter. When you're alone and content, you develop a mental edge. You're less influenced by social norms, trends, or the need for validation. That makes you unpredictable. And in a world obsessed with conformity, unpredictability is power. So if you've ever turned down a night out just to sit under the stars with a good book or journal your thoughts in silence, congratulations, you're walking the Sigma path. You've already outgrown the crowd. You're building something deeper, something most people can't see but will one day feel, because a man who finds strength in solitude doesn't follow the noise. He becomes the signal. Reason 5, they speak with purpose, not for attention. Ever notice how some people talk just to hear themselves speak? That's not the Sigma way. When a Sigma male talks, it's intentional, measured, strategic. Unlike others who may be motivated by the need for attention or validation, a Sigma speaks with purpose. Every word is carefully chosen. They're not about noise, they're about signal. The distinction is subtle but powerful. They're the quiet force in the room, not the loudest voice. This measured approach often catches people off guard, and that's precisely what makes it so effective. In a world where everyone seems to be trying to fill the air with words, a Sigma's silence can be a game changer. It commands attention without demanding it. It's an invitation to listen more closely, to pay attention to what's truly being said. When a Sigma enters a conversation, it's not to dominate or control. They don't need to. They're there to offer something real, something valuable. Whether it's a nugget of wisdom, a sharp observation, or simply a unique perspective, a Sigma male's words are meant to leave an impact. The people around them may be used to surface-level chatter, but the Sigma's insights hit differently. They resonate. This kind of quiet confidence often makes others uneasy. In a culture of over-explainers and self-promoters, the Sigma's reserved nature feels like a power move. And for them, it is. Because it's not about filling the space with endless talking. It's about taking control of the conversation by saying just enough. Their words land with weight because they've earned the right to be heard. In a sea of noise, the Sigma remains a signal, a beacon of clarity and purpose. Reason 6, they prioritize freedom over comfort. Security is nice, but freedom? Freedom is everything. Sigma males possess an inherent desire for independence that drives their every decision. They would rather face the risk of failure chasing their own path than succeed by following the traditional routes that society lays out for them. This mindset explains why so many Sigmas take the leap into entrepreneurship, leaving stable jobs to start their own businesses. They value the autonomy of calling their own shots far more than the comfort of a predictable paycheck. These individuals are not averse to success, far from it, but they have a fundamental aversion to being trapped in a system, bound by the expectations of others. They don't conform to conventional norms because they know that true success that resonates deeply with the soul, requires carving out one's unique space in the world. Society often rewards those who are willing to follow orders, stick to established systems, and stay in the confines of the cage. However, Sigmas are allergic to those cages, those structures that limit personal expression and freedom. This rejection of societal norms is not rooted in rebellion for the sake of rebellion, but in the belief that freedom is the ultimate form of success. Sigmas understand that real growth occurs when you take ownership of your journey, risk failure on your terms, and redefine what success looks like. This is why you'll often see them turning down promotions or leaving jobs with potential for growth, if it means sacrificing their independence in the process. For Sigmas, it's not about following the herd or climbing a corporate ladder. It's about choosing to forge their own path. In a world that often pushes people to follow a prescribed set of rules, Sigmas reject conformity and redraw the map of what is possible. They understand that their path may not always be easy or conventional, but it's theirs, and that's where true fulfillment lies. Reason 7, they challenge the status quo. Ever met someone who just doesn't seem to follow the script? That's a Sigma male. Instead of adhering to societal norms or conforming to the status quo, they break away from the pack and forge their own path. They're the ones questioning why we still hold on to outdated traditions, why we measure success with money, titles, and external validation, and why we place more value on appearing rich than on being wealthy in mind, spirit, and heart. Sigma males see the world through a different lens. They recognize that the societal matrix is built on artificial constructs, rules that often don't align with their values or personal truths. Once they see through the facade, there's no going back. It's like seeing the strings on a puppet show. You can never unsee the illusion. When a Sigma enters a system that doesn't make sense, they don't simply accept it. They don't go along with the crowd or pretend everything is fine. They challenge it. They ask questions that others are afraid to ask. They don't hesitate to break it down, deconstruct it, and rebuild it on their own terms. And if the system refuses to evolve, they simply walk away. This ability to question the norm and reshape the world according to their values makes the Sigma male the ultimate disruptor. They don't follow trends, they create them. They don't fit in because they're too busy standing out and changing the game. For a Sigma, the world is a canvas, and they're not afraid to paint outside the lines. This mindset doesn't just make them unique, it empowers them to lead by example, showing others that true freedom lies in questioning, reinventing, and stepping away from the conventional. So next time you encounter someone who defies the system, who doesn't conform, and who's constantly rewriting the rules, there's a good chance you've met a Sigma male. Reason 8, they're comfortable being the lone wolf. Let's face it, fitting in can sometimes feel like a lonely pursuit. But here's the thing, being alone doesn't mean you're lost. For Sigma males, solitude is a conscious decision. They know that it's in those quiet moments of self-reflection and independence that true strength and clarity are found. While society often pressures people to find their tribe and belong to a group, Sigma males take a different approach. They don't surround themselves with people just to fill an emotional gap or fit in with the crowd. For them, it's more empowering to have no circle than to engage in fake friendships. They trust themselves, trust their own judgment, decisions, and path in life. It's all about embracing their independence, which gives them the freedom to grow on their own terms. You see, when you're walking your own path, there may not always be a cheering crowd behind you. But that's okay. Sigma males understand that the journey is not about applause, admiration, or external validation. The journey is about something much deeper, finding and fulfilling a personal purpose. This deep sense of self-reliance is what truly sets Sigma males apart from others. It's not about isolation for the sake of isolation. It's about choosing solitude to hear their own thoughts, make their own decisions, and ultimately live a life that is aligned with their values. Their solitude is not emptiness. It's a wellspring of growth and clarity. They know who they are and are not afraid to walk alone if it means staying true to themselves. Ultimately, Sigma males don't need a tribe because they are the tribe. So Sigmas, let's be clear, not fitting in is not a flaw, it's a feature. It's a sign that you're not here to blend in, you're here to stand out. These 8 reasons are more than traits. They're philosophies, they're choices. They're proof that being different isn't just okay, it's powerful. You're not broken because you see the world differently. You're awake, you're intentional, you're dangerous to a world built on blind obedience, and that makes you unstoppable. So if any of this resonated with you, if you've ever felt out of place but right on purpose, you're not alone, you're a Sigma. Hey Sigmas, if this video spoke to that wild, independent soul of yours, go ahead and smash that like button. Hit subscribe and join the community of thinkers, creators, and lone wolves rewriting the rules. Live deliberately, think independently, walk fearlessly, and as always, stay true and stay Sigma.